admiralty, you're looking at property. Of properties and persons, isn't it? Well, haven't we been saying it for years?
Yep.
And I'm not trying to say that we're right and everybody's wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if I present a position, I present it on established fact and research. And then I encourage people to do the same so it becomes their own. Don't look at following what I say. Don't look at it from that perspective. Because I don't promote that paradigm. I promote the liberation, that it becomes your own. I promote that if we're going to be in unity and harmony, that they just follow the leader guy paradigm of the Piscean age is over. It's sort of like Jawali said. He says, man, go to the altar of Allah and place your hand in Allah's hand yourself because the priesthood is dead type thing. You understand? He's Jawali was all about liberation, and people, always try to twist it back into this follow leader guy. Jawali always said, he said, some of your grand governors have followers. Some of your grand sheiks have followers. Some of your sheikesses have followers. But I, your prophet, have no followers. People got to pay attention to things because he gave signals, but I'm not going to argue it. I'm just going to say, make it your own. And choose to act on it or choose not to. The point is, take responsibility for your destiny. Because the issues of cure have been placed before you. And caveats for what you did not know, keys were placed before you to lead you to them, with the instructions that you study and make it your own. I.e., every man, every woman, every child must confess their own. Stop looking for someone else to confess for you. And then look up the word confess too. And you're going to find out it means more than you think it does.
Here's a question. 2 questions. Well, I'll do this one first. From Christian Gogan. Why does the Pope kiss the feet of, it says, Black Moor ritualistically to commemorate the creation of their people?
Because you already know, they all know who is the real fathers and mothers of civilization. This is why even after they teach the BS in the public forum, they go down in their chambers and bow down to the Moabitess Madonna. And then the dirty ones will call it Black Madonna, which is no damn such thing.
Okay.
See, they do that. See, if you really study the dark priesthood and a lot of the demonism that they do, and a lot of Satanists that they practice, Satanism that they practice, you'll notice that in different methods, whether they do it by signs or symbols, or whether they do it by some allegorical story, etc., they will literally tell the people what they're going to do. Or they'll tell them the truth even if it's coded. Mm-hmm. But that's because they have knowledge that the laws of nature does not recognize person or station, and that all things living, all things being in existence are subject to those immutable divine laws, whether you're taking a positive or negative position. Therefore, for protection, or what you call karmic reduced response, this is why they focus on deception and fraud in order to get us to agree to fraud and commit violations, and then they, like a jackal, comes and devours the corruption that we agree to, etc. This is why people who really comprehend this thing, even though it's kind of rough on us, will say that people are slaves by consent. But then that must be examined to comprehend it, so that people, don't play victim all the time.
This question? Okay.
Because we've been trained to play victim. And that mentality is also designed for us to give up our power and think that we are powerless against this stuff, when that's not true.
Here's a question from I'm stuck. It's not letting me go over there. And that's something. Stop. Sadiq Hog L says, "You know all this, brother Tarik Bey. Why aren't you
No.
let me finish. You know all this, brother Tarik Bey. Why aren't you teaching this in the Moorish Science Temple of America?"
You go to the Moorish Science Temple of America, that is what you call an outreach arm. And when I'm in the temple, like they say in Asbury Park, as an example, or even in the temple that was set up here in Delaware Republic Territory, I taught these things. But I also, from experience, have recognized that in some of the temples, because of the infiltration, this information would not be allowed. This has much to do with the history of why I founded the Roundtable in 1982, and also why I'm here at the House of Reawakening Mind, where I'm not censored. And with that as a note, I would suggest they do the research and read the letter from Prophet Noble Ali himself, referring to the infiltration and then trying to take over the movement and trying to disqualify him. It's documented. And also for people to pretend that the movement was not infiltrated is dishonest. Because you already know that many of them, and you'll have a lot of people that over the years have come in the movement, because as you already know, Dr. Naila, I've already always by practice of the roundtable, by protocol, sent people to the temple who were not there, had not gone through the temples. And you know a few people from your experience of people who's come to the House of Reawakening Minds that I've sent them to the temple, and they had that experience for themselves. As soon as they started sharing some of this information in secret or in private conversation, they would admit that they were right and would shut them down.
Right. But you know that all temples are not like that.
I didn't say all temples.
I know that. I mean, you and I have had this discussion.
Now, here we go again.
No, we're not having.
Not for you. I'm talking about for people in general who make those kind of statements without research.
Right. You and I have had, I'm going to publicly say this, we've had major discussions with regard to temple.
In our evolution in studies.
Right. And I personally told you and others that I would never,
your experience.
No, I would never join a temple because of what I've seen. However,
from experience, but then you have some that are enforcing the law. GINDJAB Ali said, the time is going to come. He says, the time is going to come when more is going to come into the movement with their eyes wide open and will enforce my law. Why would he say that? Except the caveat is that with the recognition that those who were in seats at the present were not enforcing the law.
Right.
Isn't that quite obvious?
Mm-hmm.
When you do the research into the FBI papers, FBI documents, infiltration into the Moorish movement, and also in the congressional records, when you do the research into the history of American religions, you'll see a lot of organizations that have been claiming nation of this and nation of that were breakoffs from the Moorish movement due to infiltration, but that's not known openly to the public, is it?
No.
But it's documented, isn't it? So when you find these things out for yourself, it's another frame of mind than someone just telling you these things, isn't it? When you start walking the walk yourself, isn't it?
Right.
Then you start going to some Moorish Science Temple of America, and then you see them acknowledge the Moorish Holy Temple of Science operations, because Noble Ali set up a civic organization, didn't he?
Yep.
Give me the literature book, and I'll read that to you for some people who don't know.
What literature book?
The literature book.
But for the record, I have joined the temple.
Now,
so there are. Right.
Here's the literature book issued in the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I want you all to pay attention to this. And this is also addressing the last statement or question that was presented to you that we were answering, right?
Yes.
And I want you to pay attention, because this will answer much for you. Moorish leaders' historical message to America. And I'm going to read and it'll also give you reference points for research. So be patient. It's not too long. It's only a couple pages. However, it's important for anybody who has questions about the Moorish movement. Very important. In connection, this is Moorish Leaders' Historical Message to America, Noble Drew Ali. In connection with the aims, objects, rules, and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I deem it proper to submit to you a brief statement of our organization covering its inception, rise, and progress, and of the Mohammedan religion, which I hope will be satisfactory to you and be the means of causing you at all times to adhere to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in your relation with mankind in general. I further most anxiously hope this brief statement will help you to more clearly see the duty and wisdom of all times upholding those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, for our posterity, and as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. We organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois on November 29th of 1926. The name Moorish Science Temple was changed to the Moorish Temple of Science was changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of State, etc., of Illinois, pardon me. The object of our organization is to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity, and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens. Now, that's just a few paragraphs of about 4-5 pages. And right now, many of you know, which was said earlier with the sister when she says, Taj, Tarik Bey, why are you not teaching these things in the Moorish Science Temple of America?
That was a brother that asked that.
A brother, etc. And you will find that many of the governors, i.e. of the Moorish Science Temple of America, have been promoting for years that this is no civic organization, that it is a religious organization only, talking about that religious affidavit. And therefore, those civic activities and enforcement of Constitution, which is civics, was not allowed in the teaching forums accordingly. That's an established fact. It's not a condemnation, and it's not a support, etc. It is just a fact of information for those who have wondered why I founded the Roundtable in 1982 and why I became a Mayor of the Order of the Great Seal with a registration in the Library of Congress, etc. And that's a fact. And I've been operative for years, etc. And I've been known for that around the world, but you don't see me going promoting that title, etc. I just do the work. And then by virtue of that, authorized to go to the hedges and the highways to help make our people aware, and by order of the Great Seal of the ancient Canaanite Moabite nation, by right of law and right of position delegated, have been nationalizing people. And then promoting them go to the temple and also for them to study and not trying to make them followers and club members, which I already know has been detrimental to our people. Other people may take different positions. I'm not arguing with them. They got to do what their mother sent them to do. In the end, we'll see who has the proper chess move, because the stuff is falling apart now, ain't it?
More true said, Miss G, you be starting trouble. Not trouble in my start. I ain't starting no trouble. You got me confused there.
You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to stuff with
I
you
ain't,
know stuff.
I ain't starting no trouble. I just speak the truth in love. And like
we talk on you. It's like this. In order to fix things, we can't be sensitive, and we've got to be honest with each other. And we got to be honest with the questions. And we
ask
don't
you
questions.
very honest questions. I mean,
and
when
honest.
when I joined the temple, I ask you
Mm-hmm.
if that affected you, if you had an issue with. I mean, I did what I did because I'm grown and make my own decisions.
And once I heard some of the things they're teaching, I say, go ahead. You need that experience.
Absolutely.
Because it becomes your own.
Right.
And you'll comprehend why they're doing what they're doing and that they're proper.
Right.
And for those who question, we're talking about Temple 43.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not discrediting any other temples. We're just talking about our experience, our walk.
Right.
Because this is a walk of learning.
Absolutely.
And there's some who acknowledge that Noble Drawley taught civics, and there's some that won't. And so you understand some of the schism.
Right.
You know, we ain't, man, this is a war. They've been warring on us. And not to admit that would be irresponsible and dishonest, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't it be?
It would.
You can't help the people by lying to them, can you?
Right. Let me ask you this question that I didn't see this down here. That's because we're at the end. Says, please ask Grand Sheik, as far as nationality of Moorish Latins throughout Central America, how do we bridge the seeming language comprehension issue when dealing with nationality?
All right, here we go. Now, for those of you who have available to you, the Circle 7 Quran, give me the Circle 7 Quran.
Mine's all over there.
Is it where?
It's over there. They were in that. See that thing with the lines around? I mean, see the book with the rings? It's in that envelope. All of them are over there. So when I do study, see that thing right there?
Oh, yes.
The envelope. Yes. They're inside.
Excuse me, just a minute.
I'm sorry. They do a pilot check. I can't figure out where this is to get out of here. You see them in there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're in that envelope.
Now, I want to read from the Circle 7 Quran and give you some sound social political concepts. Now, repeat that question for the people.
Okay. As far as nationality of Moorish Latins throughout Central America, how do we bridge the seeming language comprehension issue when dealing with nationality?
Now, in the political realm, you would call that Tower of Babel, in the splitting of the language.
Babel. Babel. We call it Babel.
Now, in fact, you would also comprehend the dominion of Africa. This is very important, and this would be chapter 47. Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa. The dividing of the land between the Father and the Son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the great Atlantic, and it was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without doubt or contradiction. And there is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And these laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meetings and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. And I, the Prophet Noble Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and dreadful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. And through sin of disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the words Negro, black, and colored were given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mothers and fathers, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. So as you can see, when you're dealing with America, North, Central, and South, you're dealing with the Moroccan Empire. And of course, they will tell you, and this is after the fall of the Red House in the Alhambra in Andalusia, which they refer to as Spain after the military operations known as Ferdinand and Isabella, etc., which are military operations, not so much just people as you've been told, etc. That's when Al-Andalusia was named Spain. And so the Moorish Latin was called Spanish, which does not exist. It's Moorish Latin. And so when you go into Moorish history, you will see, or the Moorish Canaanite history, you'll see the multiple dialects from Ibri, that you call Hebrew, from Urdu, Persic, etc., which you call Persia, etc., Persic, Arabic, Aramaic, etc. All of these are dialectical forms. And before the Germanic tribes of hybrid Europeans took over and started burning books and destroying erudition systems of human development, etc., it was common, and it's common now even with many people of Africa who are less colonized than we are here, to speak 7 or 8 languages as a common format. And as you can see, usually when you come more to the north side, you'll see more of the Moors are less able to dialectically disseminate the different dialectical forms of Moorish Latin, etc. And so there's a concept of that we only speak one language type thing, when that's never been true. And so this is again why etymology, or the etymon degree, is not taught to the people, particularly in the North, because the heartland of the North of North America is where they've been launching the wars against the rest of the world, etc. So it was vital to the hybrid Europeans to suppress fundamental erudition among the Moors of the North. So much of our linguistic Babel suffering comes from that. So it is in our interest to we make those repairs, but know for sure that all of the people, the Tainos, the Borican, etc., Arawak, etc., in the Carib, all the different Caribs, all of these are Moorish Berber tribes. Get over it and start loving one another and start executing your right of estate. Anyway, I want to thank you all for sharing this night with us, etc. And as usual, we try to, answer a lot of questions, and we try to be open and understand that and comprehend that we have in dialogue because we're family. We're not trying to be, we're the boss and you're the follower. That's not how this works. And as you study, you bring stuff to the table. And yes, ask those tight questions because because they need to be answered. Because a lot more people need to be questioned on things that they've been doing. Anyway, your continued support of the House of Reawakening Minds is greatly appreciated. We want you to know that. We really do. And you can volunteer to assist us with your technical skills and abilities by calling Dr. G during normal business hours at 302-345-0500. That is 302-345-0500. And you can also support via Cash App at cash.me/$reawaken or PayPal at paypal.me/Nyla Gilliam, or send money orders payable to House of Reawakening Minds, and that will be sent to 602 Vandiver Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, Republic, zip exempt 19802. Thank you for sharing this evening with us, and we hope we help again, because unless our people know what got us in this condition, we can talk all kinds of trash and come together with all kinds of clubisms, but you're not going to heal the nation, and you can't create a new nation. The nation already exists. It's been injured, and it's our duty to help in the great missionary work of uplifting and fallen humanity. And so we need healing, we need support, etc., but do it with love, good intentions, and never with selfish, narcissistic intent, etc. And so you all have a grand evening. And Dr. Naila, will you share anything with us tonight before we close out?
I think I've shared enough.
All right.
I thank everyone again. Just to echo what you said, we thank everyone for their ongoing support. All the phone calls we get on a regular basis, on a daily basis. I have a little problem getting this stuff unstuck. The calls, the emails, and I apologize sometimes when I don't get to answer your emails.
Remember, we're doing multiple things.
Yeah, and it's just a handful doing it, like two hands.
Yeah.
So we just thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your orders for USB drives, and anything we can do to help, please just reach out to us.
Particularly the Maghreb, he cooked Egypt of the West, that you know as Maghreb, or the North Gate, North America, and the Aboriginal peoples here in their operations. And in their social engineering operations, they set up or adopted a set of code, social engineering, particularly constructed from the dark side priesthood of the bishopric of Rome, and they're known as the Christian Black Codes of 1724, adopted into all of the operative trading states of business operating at North America, which later becomes what you've been told are the states of the Union, which for the most part have been operating in from a de facto platform, particularly since 1860, 61, 62, and constructively well organized since 1871. When those of you who know about some of the operative political body politic operations operating at North America, you will be familiar with what is known as the Organic Act of Congress of 1871, and most scholars and peoples who teach civics are well aware of that official operations of de facto political platforms. Now, operatively, in order to write themselves into the history of the Asiatics here at the North Gate, many among the hybrid Europeans, coming from most of what they would call the dross class, coming from the Iberian Peninsula that you know as Europe today, etc. And thereafter, particularly after the 1800s, but much of the battles that have taken place on the land since the 1700s, etc., has been in the what you would call stage by stage eventual overthrow of the Moorish Empire in the at the Maghreb or the Western Hemisphere, generally referred to in history books as the colonization of North America. That's the cover for the colonization and the conquest of the Maghreb, or what is known as the Red House, also referred to as Casablanca, also referred to as Humpty Dumpty.